Okay, so we are on our way to the Ferris wheel bridge. We have Lisa with us.
Hello.
We got Teddy. So we're on the way to Ferris wheel bridge, also known as Dunn's Bridge. Now, the history behind this is a very interesting one, and reading a lot about it, there's been a pretty good amount of activity. The history behind it is actually built out of the bones of the very first Ferris wheel I found out ever built, and it was at the Chicago State Fair in the Chicago Fair.
The
Illinois
exposition.
State Fair. Anyway,
Yeah.
it was built in 1833 or 1843, one of those two. But it is said that there is a woman who was at the fair, and she was already severely depressed, which back then that would be enough to get you in a mental hospital. She was supposed to meet her boyfriend at the Ferris wheel, and it ended up on the way there, the boyfriend got in a car crash and he had died. Well, she had waited.
Keep going 65. We're going to be the next ones to get in a car crash and die.
Behind the camera does not speak. Anyway, it's because there was no phone, like actual cell phones or anything back then. She had no way of knowing that he had died. So she waited for hours on end until she came to the conclusion that he didn't really care for her. So she got on the Ferris wheel, and when her cart stopped at the top, she had jumped off and killed herself. So they disassembled the Ferris wheel and used the exact parts of it to build this bridge. Now, it is said if you go there in the dark, on a dark, quiet night, you are supposed to be able to hear her crying in the distance, which actually last time me and Mike were there, we heard like a weird screeching thing too, and that's also right when he ran. You are also supposed to see a figure of a woman, which is supposed to be her walking around the bridge. So we are going to go there tonight and see if we find anything. So welcome back to Eerie Encounters episode 4. This is the one where we are going to be talking about the Ferris wheel bridge, and we're going to hear Lisa's experience from the Gypsy Cemetery. And we got Lisa finally. Say hi.
Hello.
With Lisa here actually brings us to another point. This is the first podcast we are recording since our very first 2 episodes aired, and we didn't expect it to take off the way it did. We thought there would be like 5 people who would want to hear anything we were saying, and then we wake up to an article saying it has surpassed 6,000 views for episode 2.
So for those 6,000 of you, thanks for joining us, and then we look forward to you guys going on that journey with us and with Lisa. It definitely blew my mind when I saw that too. So we've got a lot of good stuff coming up for you guys, a lot of good stories, a lot of things to share, and just keep tuning in with this. You guys won't be bored, obviously.
Yeah, on behalf of me, Teddy, Little Mikey, Big Mikey, Lisa, Oliver, it's thank you from all of us. We didn't expect much from it, but thanks for listening. Now, the place that we had explored most recently was the Ferris wheel bridge, also known as the Dunn Bridge. This was a place that we were excited to go to and had a range of mixed feelings. And we'll get more into that. But basically, the history on the bridge, it was originally a Ferris wheel. There's some records that claim it was the first ever Ferris wheel.
It was the first Ferris wheel in Chicago. It was brought in for the Chicago expedition, actually around the same time H.H. Holmes committed all his murders after the Chicago World's Fair there. But yeah, it was brought to Chicago for the World's Fair, and then afterwards it was just broken down. And
I just checked, it was the first Ferris wheel ever created. So that adds to its history. Yeah. I thought I kind of passed that earlier, but I wasn't sure. It is the very first Ferris wheel ever created.
So very first Ferris wheel ever created. So after the World's Exposition,
132 years ago.
After the World's Fair expedition in Chicago, they ended up selling it off, and it ended up going to various places. Well, somehow one of the part of it ended up down in Jasper County, down by the Kankakee River of all places.
And this is not part of a landmark. We're not close enough to Indianapolis. We're not close enough to anything people would want to go to. So it's really weird how something like the first ever Ferris wheel ended up in the middle of absolute nowhere. Now, the actual story behind it, the reason people believe it being haunted is
the fair obviously was in 1893, and there was a woman who was attending, and she was already severely depressed. And she was supposed to meet her boyfriend there, and they were supposed to ride together and spend the night together. Well, on the way there, he got in a car crash and he died. And she wasn't made known of this. And so it got to the point after hours and hours of waiting, she thought he didn't care about her. So she got on the Ferris wheel, and when her cart stopped at the top, she jumped off. And now they say if you go to the bridge on a dark, quiet night, you'll hear her crying and you'll see her. And while we didn't have anything as that obvious happen, we did have some very interesting stuff. So the first night that we actually went there, it was actually just me and little Mikey, which you saw on the second episode. And we actually went moments after we filmed that. And Teddy ended up sitting out because he stepped off of a curb and decided to be dramatic. So he didn't join us. So it was just me and little Mikey. Yep, that was Teddy. Now I'm going to have to cut that out.
No, you don't. Just go on with it.
Anyway, me and little Mikey end up going to the bridge, and on the top of the bridge, it was already dark. But here's some pictures of the bridge, like as you're approaching it, kind of in the day. It's wheezing.
She lost it again.
Swallow.
Most people have to.
Okay.
Why'd it take you that long to swallow?
I didn't want it coming out my nose. I'm good.
There's going to be a lot of this tonight. So, what the hell was I saying? Oh,
You were talking about the first night with you and little Mikey there.
so we were there. It was already dark, but here's a picture of just kind of as it was getting dark, what the bridge looks like.
It's his fault. I don't think we'd ever be able to go anywhere serious together. Oh my gosh.
You're watching this. You're used to it.
All right. I can't look at you.
Composure. Composure. 9 minutes in and we have yet to discuss anything.
This is what they tune in for.
Okay, we have a lot to talk about tonight. Calm. Breath. Okay, we have a lot to talk about tonight, so we better get into it. So the first night, there wasn't...
You stop. I was fine, and then I see her moving over there.
moving. There wasn't this issue last night.
All right, so we have a lot to talk about tonight. So, Sam, why don't you just go ahead and lead us into it?
So me and Mikey did not go there at any, like, there wasn't any light. But here's a picture approaching the bridge of when it is, the sun kind of sets. Now we went there, and at first we set up the music box up top. Didn't really get anything. EMF reader was going insane, but we decided to go under the bridge, and we set up the music box down there. It wasn't really going off at first, and then I waved my hand in front of it to make it go off to see if it was working, and then like immediately after that, it started responding. Like we needed to show whatever it was how the music box works. And it was answering a couple questions. We didn't really get anything useful until across the river we heard some whistling, like it was something we thought at first it was somebody calling their dog, because this other half of the bridge, one half is like on a deserted road and the other half comes out literally in the middle of a neighborhood. it's very weird. So we thought somebody was calling the dog, but it didn't really sound like the whistle someone would do. And like 5 seconds later, on our side of the bridge, and we were still under the bridge, but on our side of the river, we heard another whistle, and it sounded like it was from the woods next to us, but then it like literally surrounded us in an echo. And we just looked at each other and we decided to, okay, let's leave, because it was just me and little Mikey. There's not much we could do if there was somebody in those woods. And this place is technically open 24 hours. In the good side of that, we can't get in trouble for being there at night. On the opposite side of that, nobody else can get in trouble either. So there could be literally anybody there, and we wouldn't know it. Now, the very next night, me and Uncle Mike went there, and we went there. Back it up a little bit. When me and little Mikey left, you guys can tell from like a lot of things we do, I don't get freaked out too easily. But when me and little Mikey left, there was like a sense of uneasiness that I have not felt doing this. Like, it was so overwhelming. The drive home, me and Mikey kept looking into the back seat at the same time, which freaked us both out because it just felt like someone was there. And I ended up calling Teddy, or he called me, and just talking to him about it after little Mikey had got out of the car, because it was weird to sit there in the quiet. Even if there was music on, it just felt odd to be in there alone. And then when Teddy hung up the phone, I called my Uncle Mike to tell him about it. And he was like, I don't see how a bridge could be that creepy. So the next night, that's when me and Uncle Mike went there. And I actually have a couple videos of that, which I will put up. I haven't had a chance to go through them yet, but I'll go through them, see which ones have the most important stuff, and put up in here. Mike. What's going on?
Yeah. Look, it don't go off for nothing, you know what I mean?
No. I don't like that.
This thing's all over the place. It went from complete red.
Look.
It keeps going off. This is freaking... Oh, look. Red. That is like
Come on, let's go to the music
blatantly
box.
red.
There it is.
A dog.
Look, Mike.
Wait, what was that?
I heard it again. And again.
You know what? I think that is a frog.
Mike. Look.
Dude, what the... It doesn't just go off for no reason.
Mike, there's nothing to set it off. Look.
No.
There's no leaves or
'Cause
anything.
it's facing that way. This is creepy. That one noise you heard.
Dude, there's a light coming. There's a light.
Are you happier on the other side? If it stops, I can ask a question.
There it was again.
It won't stop.
No, but it kept... Mike, somebody's down there. Turn that off. Right over there. Right over there. I thought I saw something moving. Unless it was the woman. Right over there, where I'm pointing the light right now. They walked under the bridge.
Seriously?
Dude!
Was that a fish?
I don't know. No, it's too steady. All right, we're shutting this off. I got it on video. You heard it, right? What the? Oh, that's a post. I thought it was somebody.
Like a splash.
That was like big. That wasn't. The fish make smaller splashes. You know? Normally, right? And I just said I saw someone walking under the bridge. That sounded like they threw a rock.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Jump from the bridge. Yes or no? Are you the one who jumped from the bridge? Yes or no?
Did you whistle at me last night? Is there anything here at all? Step in front of it.
Oh, he went dead.
There's nothing anymore.
It went from all the way active to dead.
Look at this.
I don't like the the fact that someone could be creeping up.
Yeah, me neither. Can you step in front of the box to tell us that you're here?
We went from
Everything to
really,
dead.
yeah, everything active to just completely. You know what? It might be the time of day too. Like certain times, you know, like when she jumped or something.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the fair is usually nighttime, right?
Yeah.
What the hell was that? Mike? I just heard the music box, but it didn't go off.
Really? And that's when this thing spiked.
What was that?
Let's see if we hear her crying, you know. You said you can hear her cry sometimes.
We put up the music box on the bridge on the top, facing virtually nothing. So there's nothing that can make it go off. No leaves that would blow in front of it, nothing. And we're getting no answers. So we walk away and leave it on, and it starts going off. And that's when I started recording one of the videos. And we walk up to it, and it just kept going on and off. And then it went insane and did not stop at all. And then I didn't know if it was malfunctioning or not, so I kept resetting it. And the same thing, it would do absolutely nothing, and then it just would not stop. And then Uncle Mike decided he wanted to go under for the first time ever. He said absolutely nothing except the number 9. And that's very odd. We ended up leaving. I didn't feel as odd that night, but we both did feel like just this off feeling that we don't normally have. And then fast forward a couple days later, me, Teddy, and Lisa go. And I have some pictures here that I'll put up that Lisa took. Just us walking around the bridge, looking at it approaching. There was nothing really off. And then we go up top, we set up the music box, and one of you guys start describing one of that, because I've talked too much.
Nothing happened with the music box at all. It just did not seem like it wanted to communicate, but we brought out the
Dowsing rods. Caught me mid
dowsing rods, and it communicated whatever it was through them accurately for questions that we were asking.
Now we have not introduced this yet, but dowsing rods, that is our newest addition. This was the first time we were going to use them. It is 2 rods made 99% copper, and it's supposed to be really reactive to whatever is talking. Now you hold them straight and you ask yes or no questions. If they cross, it's yes. If they separate, it's no. And every one of us tried it, and you can feel you're not moving. The wind is not enough to move it. Like, it takes something to move it. And we were getting some pretty accurate answers with that.
And so the nice thing about that, I thought, was, you know, like, you're holding them perpendicular to one another, so, like, you're not getting any false readings or anything like that, as opposed to, like, so back to the music box, what was interesting about that is that was the first time that ever malfunctioned. Like, it wouldn't calibrate, it wouldn't do anything.
And then it would end up, if the times that it was working, it would go like extremely slow. Like it was trying.
It didn't work at all. And then, like he said, when the times it did work, it just went at a much slower pace as before.
Now, normally that's also brought up as, you know, the batteries are getting old, but they were brand new 2 9-volt batteries, and that takes quite a bit to drain.
So, we had the cat balls, but we didn't use those because, you know, with the wind that night, it could have, you know, just as easily triggered something. And plus, it's a bridge. You don't want to lose that. But the dowsing rods, we got a lot of activity off of. Some of the questions, you know, we asked, you know, were more along the lines of, you know, friendly, things like that. As far as, was there any woman there or spirit of a woman that was linked to that Ferris wheel still? I would definitely say no.
There was one thing I forgot to mention the night me and Mike were there. 2 things, actually. At first, and I don't know if I caught on the video. Like I said, I'll look through, and if I did catch it, I'll put it up here. But at one point on top of the bridge, I thought out of the corner of my eye, I saw someone walking under it, the same place me and little Mikey had been. And I told Mike, and he was like, "Oh, really?" And it did kind of sound like footsteps, but it's gravel, and you're in the middle of the woods, kind of, so you're going to hear stuff like that. But then it sounded like somebody threw a giant stone, not necessarily boulder size, but a pretty big, heavy rock into the water, which it's a river, fish, beaver, anything. But Mike, he grew up on a lake in near a river, and he recognizes all those sounds, and he goes at first he thought that's what it was too, but then he started thinking about it. And he goes, that's not what any of that sounds like. And the fact that I just said I thought I saw someone, it looked like a whole figure in white kind of walk under the bridge, which we did have the moon glaring off the water. It could have been a trick of the light, but the fact that I saw it and the noise that we heard, it was just off-putting. And then on our way out, we were just about to leave, and in the woods, the same spot where we actually heard the return whistle, me and little Mikey did, we heard like multiple screeches. At first, the closest thing I could like equivalent it to is cats fighting, but it was definitely not like cats. But like I said, woods could be literally anything, but it was just off-putting because I hadn't heard anything like that before.
Yeah, so and then another thing we had going was the EMF reader. Now that spiked all over the bridge.
I know I keep doing this, sorry. Last time. When me and Mike did have the EMF reader up top when the music box was going off. And this I know you can see in one of the videos. Pure red when the music box was going off, malfunctioning, doing whatever. And then the moment we would make a comment about it, it would just die and go to green when everything would stop.
And then we'll also put up the screenshots of the video we had from that night, because we have shots of that EMF going red. I mean, consistently red. So then what me and Sam decided to do was go under the bridge, and I actually walked under this bridge and made it under that bridge.
I did not.
Yeah, she stayed on
Lisa
top.
stayed and looked out. Now, we didn't get nothing under there. So after that, we had went back up, and we decided, well, let's put Sam under.
Which we do have a video of me under. I don't know how much of it, but we do have.
There's quite a bit. And then we finished that night off by having Sam go under, and then me and Lisa stayed up there, and while he was under, the EMF continued to go off all around him. The music box, at this point we were just using Estes with Sam. And Lisa, you want to share a little bit about what he was saying and what he heard, what we heard?
Well, I know he had said it was cold a few times, and that's when I walked around him with the reader. Definitely going off. He said my name a couple times. I actually don't remember exactly what we were asking it, but whatever it was very like a friendly type of energy. So we did ask it about if it had been the same thing that had thrown something in the water or made that splash, and it didn't do anything.
Yeah, and that said no. So that really, looking back, I would attribute that to just maybe state of, not knowing what was what, because for the most part, it was communicating with us pretty legitly. Another thing we got a negative response to was if the woman from the Ferris wheel was still connected there, and we didn't get something there. But like you said, it was very friendly. And again, it goes back to, is this what's been following us this whole time? Has it been with us this entire time? Isn't it just now making it known because we're breaching that, respective forbidden wall, whatnot? But
then it started to say names and numbers.
Now, I will
that
say
we
that
were talking about being biblical verses.
Now, I will say this third night when we were all there, it was the most like, I wouldn't even really say like peaceful night that I felt, but it was like the most, well, I mean, compared to the nights that I was there, it was more like there was nothing, like feeling wise, for me at least. Like there was a lot of activity and we got a lot of responses, but it was like, it just felt like nothing. Like there was no bitterness, there was no like not even peace. Like I said, it just felt like nothing. But that was the night we were getting the most answers. Now the only time, with that being said, the only time I was feeling like very off put was when I was under. I was sitting on the bridge, and you'll be able to see in the video which way I mean, but I could feel something that way. For people who aren't watching the video and they're just listening, it felt like something more to my left, like forward and to the left. If you're looking straight, it would be more northwest. That's like and it just felt like something was over there, and I could hear like in the headphones screams coming from that direction only, which is very odd because when you're under Estes, it's like picking up words that are going both ears. It's not just like a left right side thing, but I could only hear it on the left. I felt like somebody was constantly walking around me, which one of the times Lisa said it was her, but I felt a lot walking around me. I felt cold. I felt, like I said, I heard the screams. But the moment I took them off, it was back to absolutely nothing. And that was very odd to me. Now, the one time I did come out, like on my own, and I went, Lisa was even like, I'm getting good answers, go back under, like hurry up, go back under. But I never like pull myself out unless I feel like I have a reason to. And I've never done it for stuff that I've just heard in terms of this. But I heard the same thing twice. And I had to stop because I took my phone out and I made notes of it. And then I went right back under. And those were two specific Bible verses that I found. But we'll go to that when we're talking about Lisa's experience at Gypsies because it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit.
Do you remember me here from previous nights? I can see you not moving. Yeah, give him a shake. For anyone watching this on the podcast or even just on the regular channel, these are dowsing rods made out of copper, highly reactive to spirits. If they cross, the answers are yes. If they separate, the answers are no.
Ask about Michael.
Do you remember little Mikey the other night? You can see he's not moving his hands, but they're moving. Okay, shake him again. Were you... Okay, I have one. Did you throw something in the water the night me and my uncle were here? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Did you whistle to me and little Mikey when we were here? You're not moving, right?
No, he is not.
Here, you try this just to make sure there's, just to make sure, like, I'm not.
While they're doing that, this music box, we have had it set up, and as you can see from the videos that I think I already put up of me and Mike here, my uncle, this was going off fine, and now it's not working at all. It just keeps trying to go to calibrating. It only played music once, and that's when we asked the thing to let it work for us, and it's just not doing anything. Okay. Teddy?
Do you remember his Uncle Mike being here?
They're moving. Together. All right, give him a little shake to...
I have a question.
Okay.
Were you with us before we came to the bridge?
It's like it's supposed to fully cross, so maybe not. Or maybe if there's multiple here.
Shake.
These were only... This was the cheapest part of equipment I got. These were only $10.
Did you fall? Was that you just making that noise?
Do you see what's making that noise? Yeah, it sees it. Oh.
Oh, it is really
Yeah,
crossed.
it's just like fully crossed, and I saw like eyes over there.
Sure ain't somebody taking out
Look,
the
look,
trash.
look. Oh, it's a cat.
A cat!
It's no, don't. It's already gone. But it said it saw what was making it move. So, all right. Do you want one of us to go under the Estes method? That way you can get words out clearer to us. Heh. We'll ask that again in a minute, but you say something for now.
I think it's
Do you-
like King D's, whatever it is.
Yeah, it seems
Do you
to.
want us to keep using these to communicate? That's spiking again.
However, I was holding it to my
I'm
phone.
going with yes on this one.
Okay.
All right, shake it again.
Okay, I have one. Will hold them upright a little more so they can. Oh, like tilt it up, like yeah, like that. Will we be protected if we go under the bridge? The one's moving pretty good, and the other one's starting now. And it just spiked.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be protected. And you feel how you're not moving? When Mike was trying it, that's a yes. When Mike was trying it, at one point, one of them did like a complete, like it circled, like fast.
I have another question. Are we being protected by the same thing that protects us at the other places we've been to? Let's see, that's
Are you talking to us through the box right now?
Stop if that's you doing it. It did.
It's never sounded like that though, has it?
Is the box just messing up?
Turn it off and on, see if it'll do a recalibrate again.
I think the box is just messing up. I'm getting
Hold on.
like, look at it. It's just
Yeah.
going more.
Are you making the box
Wait.
I don't think it's making the box. Her.
Can you step in front of that for one moment real quick?
Girl, right?
Yes. Can you just step in front of it for one quick moment? All right, just to make sure it works. Why does it sound so...
I don't know. Shake them rods again. Lisa. Shake them rods again. Are you causing the music box to malfunction? Ooh.
Huh.
I don't feel like it.
Were those... do that again.
Do what?
The rods. Did you hear those footsteps over there?
Tilt them like up a little more, like angle them like kind of more even instead of facing down. Yeah, like that. Did you hear those footsteps? Or did you cause those footsteps? They're getting closer. Yeah. Yeah, they touched. All right.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Tap me when you're ready to bring me out.
Can you hear us at all?
Work.
All right.
There.
Are we
Did you
talking-
hear it?
I heard it. I heard a baby cry.
Now-
What sounded like it.
In gray. Please. Speak more. Listen now. You, Mom. J. 1 4 6 4th. Act quick. 4
Wants you to
One.
ask some questions.
2
Wants to talk to you.
on top of. It feels really cold over here, like right here.
Can you whistle
Hey,
for
somebody
me?
has to feel this. It's like just here. It's nowhere else. Release. Tell me.
Oh, yeah? For a second.
What happened to the fire? Oh, it just died down.
Hopefully. Lise, tell him
Listen.
television.
1, save it. 4, 6, 3 times. A, C, T, 4, 12. Please come.
Where is it you want us to come?
Rob him.
You come on and rob me, all right.
Riley, I got Riley.
Who's Riley?
How old are you, Riley?
How old are you, Riley?
Somebody here.
Paul.
Always knows.
Puritan, God.
Puritan God. It wasn't like there was anything new there as far as activity that night. The only thing I got that what we were talking to with the dowsing rods and what Sam was talking to was whatever's been with us every trip we've been on so far. And that shows me that whatever it is has followed us, but it's not in the sense that we picked it up when we first started. It's in the sense that whatever it is for me has been with me my entire life and vice versa. I would think you would agree. But yeah, that's what I got from it. I didn't get any of the supposed lore in it. It's a good story, but it's a peaceful spot. But it's a spot I'd rather go camp at and fish off the river than.
Yeah,
I will say
absolutely. It's a really nice bridge.
you can definitely tell. You can definitely tell how it was a Ferris wheel. Like you can 100% tell, and they had lights roped around it, and I would love to see them on, but they weren't connected to anything. So I would say like festival is the only time they would connect it, but it's not a place where you'd have a festival. So I don't know when else they would bring power out there to generate it.
Maybe
In
they
somebody's
have a
backyard.
Backyard party type thing.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. But was there anything else you had to say about the bridge before we move on?
No.
So that closes the lore on the bridge.
Now we will say we were planning when we planned like to go there and do this episode based on it. We were planning a lot more to happen because it was supposed to be a whole episode. But that's just a fact. We got very few answers. Well, we got a lot of answers, but none of it was really like at Gypsies. We felt like a need that we had to keep going back and diving further into it, and it made sense. But here it was just like nothing, and not nothing in the sense of like I said, no responses, but just nothing of importance, nothing that feels like we should have been there, nothing, just nothing.
But we could always go back.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be
check
going
it
back.
out and see.
In the sense, we're not gonna. Every episode we do is not gonna be like, well, we saw this, we heard this, we have this for you to look at. There's gonna be episodes where not a darn thing happened, but we're still gonna share that with you. We're not like everybody else who's gonna go engineer something at every single place we go to just to try to get attention. This is just us being realistic. This is what we heard about the place. This is what we found out about the place, and this is what we can, attribute to, hey, there's some legitimacy to this. Hey, this is a bunch of hokey. And,
Yeah, because the fact that stuff doesn't happen as much as it does only adds to the realism of the stuff that does happen, because it's like, hey, like stuff's not just going off all the time. And it'll also share like these places are more commonly talked about places that people think have stuff going on, and this is kind of like we'll talk about it if things don't happen, in the sense of, okay, this is maybe just more local lore than it is genuine stuff happening there.
What we feel, think, and what happens while we're there.
Mm-hmm. And in between the legend and the lore and of itself lies the truth, and that's ultimately what we aim to get down to the best that we can understand.
With that being said, this will be the last episode that we kind of focus more on gypsies, because the first episode we didn't really go deep dive, but was a lot of gypsies mentioned. The second episode was pure gypsies, and now episode 3 was the only one not. Well, episode 3 even had people
Well, the
from
purpose
gypsies.
of this is just to get your perception, your experiences, because we could hit on it a little bit, but people definitely wanted to hear about what happened to you. So take us back to the first time you had been there before with just him.
Well, the first time was very interesting. Sam had told me about the place, and I thought it would be interesting to go and see. It wasn't too far away. So we pull up and we get into this little cemetery, and there's stones just scattered pretty much everywhere.
Now, just for the record, this was middle of the day in about November of last year. So this was like a good 10 months before we even thought of doing the ghost hunting anything. This was just to look around.
I brought my camera just to see some old graves, and so we get in there. We were in there just a couple minutes and looking at a few, and I see a small one, and I turned to Sam, and I said, "Hey, Sam, I think this might be a baby grave." And I look at him, and he is completely just gushing blood on his hand, all over his face, and I'm like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And he's like, "I don't know what's happening." And
I actually did not even know it until she said it, and I just looked down and I'm covered in blood.
Yeah.
And remember, one of the things that's supposed to happen when you go into that place is that's one thing people report of is random bloody noses. And he never gets bloody noses or starts bleeding like that. So,
And it wasn't like dry air or anything that like you would expect to cause the bloody nose.
He was fine in the car.
Have not gotten one since.
That was one of the things I even asked you. I was like, "Do you get bloody noses?" And you were like, "No." So we went back to the car, he cleaned up, and then we went back in. And I had brought, I have a Nikon camera. It's really nice. And I had a brand new SD card. And we went around and we took a lot of different pictures, looked at the headstones, looked at names and dates, and got yelled at by a hunter.
Which that hunter decided to do it again 11 months later. Continued in a moment.
Yeah, we kind of made him mad, but yeah. But, we just kind of, walked around and took a lot of pictures. I took a lot of pictures of the coins and stuff that had been left.
And we had spent about 2 hours, I'd say, maybe in total.
About 2 hours. So we really took our time and looked around. And I took forever to look at the pictures, and we looked at them not too long ago, and there was only 53.
Which it felt like we were there for way longer than just
I
like a
know.
couple.
We
Like
took
it felt like there
a
should
lot
be 200.
more than that.
It felt like there should be more like 200, 250 pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was kind of our first experience. There wasn't really anything too freaky other than the nosebleed
Yeah.
on that.
So that was your first time. So then the second time you were with us, that was a time you were with me, with Sam, with Michael and Oliver.
First time at night.
And then it was your first time at night as well. So tell us a little about that. I mean, you saw the tombstones and all that. Tell us some more about what happened that night.
Okay, so that night they did some going under at first. And it was trying to get them to go into the woods. So to sum that kind of up, they ended up going in the woods. I have a bum foot, so I didn't. Teddy stayed up on top with me for a little while. And then he ended up kind of going down the trail a little bit past the fence where the actual burial ground is supposed to be. And I'm just kind of looking around the cemetery, and it's a pretty bright moon out there. And I see one of the big tombs and two behind it. And they're stones, they're white, and they almost look like just big blocks. And all of a sudden, one of them moves, but it almost looks like a person moved at the same time. And I called for them, like, "Hey, you guys," like, it freaked me out. And so then I was telling them what happened. We walk over there, and there are no blocks. but there were indicators that something had been there.
Two, like she had said, 2 stones had been there, and it looked like they were either removed or destroyed, and they never finished cleaning it up. Now, with that being said, when me and my Uncle Mike first went to Gypsy's and was looking around like we talked about in the second episode, we took a bunch of pictures, which I didn't, you're going through these pictures and you're looking for stuff that don't really make sense. You take usually a lot of duplicates that are only a few seconds apart. And I didn't realize I had caught this until I was editing the Gypsy episode to put our photos in there. And I saw these 2 photos, which I'll put up right here. And you can see dead center, 2 tombstones here, and then they're not, in about 30-second difference. Now, I sent this to Teddy and Elisa, and I was like, oh my gosh, guys, do you see this? Leave it to Teddy or Lisa to not see it for like 30 minutes. But to
see the 5 other things that he failed to see.
Now, I was focused on just the tombstone. Now, and I'll circle it just in case there's anyone like them who missed it. These are the tombstones I was talking about missing. This is part of the text that I get back from both Teddy and Lisa circling figures that you can make out that I didn't see. Here, they weren't noticing the tombstones, but they were noticing all these little details. And there's a couple places where it seems like there are figures, and it just doesn't make sense. And I didn't see that, and I was finally like, look at the tombstones. And I had to circle them and send them to them to show them, and they're like, oh, and that's when it hit me. Lisa's story about them not just being there in the knot is, and that kind of lines up with what we were saying in the second episode, that this cemetery is never the same. You can go there in the day and go the next day, different layout, stones that you know are there aren't. Nothing about it makes sense. Here, 30 seconds apart in this picture, they're here and they're not. Nothing about it makes sense. Now with Lisa actually seeing this and calling us up, at first I will admit I thought she was kind of kidding, because she does a lot of joking around with us. We all mess around, but when she jokes, she likes to be more present for the joke and let it run its course, and then she'll break out laughing. But it was a dead serious look that I've only seen from her when she was told she wasn't getting a raise. So I knew she wasn't kidding.
Yeah, I definitely saw something. It was just... it was enough to make me call to them.
And like this was the first time she was out really doing any of this ghost hunting stuff with us. You're wanting to see stuff, but nothing prepares you for like when you actually see something and it hits you and you're like, wait, this is what we're doing, you know? Now, with that being said, we decided what better place to set up our main spot next. So we go over to the tombstones, and we have the little audio recorder device, which I still have yet to go through that night, but I really should. Teddy, we see a tombstone, and Teddy puts the recorder on top of it, and he has to reach, kind of like this, if you're seeing the video. If not, he had to reach above his head to get it.
I'm 6'2", and I had to reach overhand to set it on top of this.
Now, we let it record for about 45 minutes while we're doing our stuff. We wanted the cemetery, and it's in the same spot. And then Teddy goes to get it, and then he grabs it off, and Lisa goes, Teddy, wasn't that taller before? Because he reaches shoulder length to grab it off. And he just goes, yes, it was.
Nobody moved it. The boys weren't tall enough to reach it, and they were over by us while everybody was under.
Well, we could talk about going under next, because that was very interesting there.
So
That was Lisa's very first time going under.
yeah, so when I took that off, it goes kind of hands in hands with nothing's ever the same anytime you're there. And then when Lisa say that things are moving and stuff like that.
And that was with us there, not even like where we leave and come back. And that was moments after she saw 2 stones move across the cemetery, and then one shrinks. Doesn't make sense. So while that was recording, one of the things we had done is Lisa wanted to try going under, because she was the one who saw it. And go ahead.
Well, I hadn't gone under yet, and so he just kind of filled me in on what to expect. And as soon as I put the headphones on, and there was a lot of static, a lot of noise, and then all of a sudden there was just a lot of talking. A lot of talking that I could not distinguish, but I heard a man specifically say, "Thank you, something for the purge," and then a woman's voice say, "Thank you." So I heard "thank you" a few times, but there was so much commotion that I couldn't even keep them on for very long. Like, there was just so much going on that it was overwhelming my brain.
And so, with that being said, when you go, like, she took them off and was just like, it's so overwhelming. And now, with this being said, in the Gypsy episode, and I think in the Roth House episode, I'm usually like, whatever talks to us will respond well to me. So I decided to put on, give it a try. And I only lasted like 30 seconds because it was the most overwhelming I have ever heard that. So many voices coming through. You couldn't distinguish one from another, and it just made you feel so overwhelmed. And that, it was odd, and I had never felt that before. But oddly enough, that spot where she saw the stones move, a stone shrinks, it's just overwhelming. And with it being a cemetery like that, but we were kind of, it was like we said, the cemetery is laid out. It's not linear. It's not there. It doesn't make sense. So we were kind of in like an empty spot where there was like nothing around us for a while. We had the stones that we thought were there, and we had the one big stone. So realistically, we would maybe get 1-2 people. It sounded like there was 50 people. Like everyone in that cemetery converged to that one spot. That's the best way I can describe it. Now, anything else you want to say about that specific night before we move to another night?
No.
Your first night there at all? Anything you want to go on about?
Because then there was the night
with Chloe where it started bringing up. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, I was kind of agitated with Chloe. It kind of seemed like, to be honest with you.
So after that first night, the next night we all went out. There was the night where we talked about in episode 2 where we went to the school in Cedar Lake, and then we met Chloe at the cemetery, and that's where it kind of started targeting.
I just didn't seem to be happy with the new person for some reason. So I don't know if it didn't like the vibe, or it's been okay with the boys even bringing Robert, but so I don't know what it was with Chloe, but I don't know, maybe she just wasn't like focused or really thinking about it and it knew it. I don't know, but didn't want to talk to her.
And then that's when it started bringing up, Chloe started asking questions like, it mentions something about the faith, wrong faith. And then that's when it started kind of picking and choosing Lisa. And this is the part where we kind of brushed over it in the Gypsy episode, but none of us wanted to talk on it because it didn't happen to us and we're not as familiar with it. But
so the question is did you feel like you were being called out that night?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because as we said, Lisa is the only one, I think, out of all of us who is not like a directly Christian. And it was weird that it's weird to me that it even knows that about us.
So, and that it's not weird in the sense that that's the one thing we established, I think, in the last episode, is that the one reoccurring theme that we have everywhere we've done is that one presence and it's not just been with me, it's not just been with you. It knows her, it knows everything about the boys, it knows everything, like the one night with Dakota and Lincoln. It knows things that aren't even relevant to the situation at hand. And these are things that two people under are saying at separate times, so there's no room for error. Now, as far as you being called out, what do you think it is that's calling you out? Is it the same thing that has been talking to me and Sam? Is it something different? What do you think that is?
I know one of them was a vampire lifestyle, something like that, and it was a direct like relation to her past.
Well, I think that was a different night, though. That was when it was just Robert and Mikey.
That was? I thought that's when...
Yeah. And, but this night, it more seemed like it was saying that it didn't have very much faith when it was alive. So, it was wrong. And it was almost kind of like giving a warning like you should believe in one thing. It didn't believe in one thing, and it almost seemed like it was stuck. So I kind of felt a little like, I don't know, forewarned, maybe, just because I don't really believe in a monotheism. I believe in polytheism. So it doesn't really matter which one and all that. We don't have to get into that. But I was really surprised that it was talking about just faith and how it was feeling. And then, was that the night that you were kind of being guarded, or was that the night with Mikey and Robert as well?
It was both nights where you were called out. You were called out almost every night.
Even the night you weren't there directly, when it was just us, that first night me, Oliver, and Mikey went, it mentioned you. And that was before you had even ever came, I believe. Didn't it?
That'll bring it back up to the bridge in the terms of what Sam was writing down and getting.
That's in a minute.
It feels like you've been called out quite a lot, and I don't know if it's something that's taunting you or something, but has it made you think at all? Like, man, something's like calling me out, talking directly to me.
That can actually wait for a minute for a few other things we're going to be talking about, because that'll bring into this. So after that night with Chloe, there was the next night where, like I said, I gently brushed over it in the Gypsy episode, but it was the night she brought the Chinese stress balls, and so you can tell that story.
I only brought one, but it just makes a nice little chime. And
Like a triangle in a chord.
so
or-
I thought,
orchestra.
gypsies and, kind of chimes and things like that. It would be kind of fun. And it was Mikey and Robert. And Teddy might have heard it once. But when I would chime it, it was kind of like, it was small enough to keep in my hand. And it was just like a bell chime. And I put it back in my hoodie. And Michael even looked and was like, you got something. You got to have something. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I had this
This goes back to her
random-
playing jokes on us.
random skull, just this random little skull in my hoodie. And so that's what he felt. And so I took it out. I still had the ball in there, but he had no idea. So every now and then he was just like, oh, okay. So every now and then he'd just hear that chime and he'd see him looking in the woods and, he's trying to figure out where it's coming from. Well,
Meanwhile, Teddy's under with headphones, so he can't hear this.
The entire time they were doing it, I didn't hear it a single time. I didn't even know y'all were messing around with it.
this is before you actually went under. Then when you went under, we were just kind of more paying attention to you. I think I had done it like once. You would never, ever be able to even remotely hear it at all. Like, period. You had to be kind of close to it. So then you...
So I came out, and I don't get I didn't come out because I was freaked out or anything. I came out because the entire time they were joking around about this triangle or whatever. It's like there ain't no noise out there. Y'all are just tweaking.
Don't ever say that again.
Y'all were just tweaking. So anyways, so when you missed me. So
You missed me. You're
So
right.
then, at the end of it, I heard the chime, and then I took it off, and that's when I told them, I was like, "You guys stop messing around with that." That I finally heard it, and they were like, "Oh no, we weren't messing with it that time."
That's when I shot Lisa the look, and I was like, "Did you do that?" And her eyes were wide as wide as I've ever seen them. And she,
Like,
No.
no matter how hard, I mean, Chinese stress balls, they come in different sizes. This one's like this. And, you just try to keep them from, like, kind of clinging together, but they make a nice sound. But as hard as you do it, it's hard to hear anyways. And it's not like a ding type bell sound like Teddy was kind of hearing, but it was weird. It was almost mocking what I was doing But it was weird that he would hear it because it was just seriously in my pocket. Like, he took himself out because of what he heard.
Which, with the spirit box, you cannot make noise come into that. There is no microphone. It doesn't pick up noises around you. So you couldn't be loud enough to make something come through that. But he specifically heard it through the static 3 distinct chimes in a row. So that was a little freaky because, like I said, at first I just thought it was her messing around again. And I turned and nope. So the fact, and I think that was the first time, only time, that the spirit box has actually made a sound not communication wise, like usually if it's not talking, like actual words, it's a scream, it's a growl, it's a, something of that nature. It's never been like an inanimate object. You know what I mean?
And here is the thing with that night. When we go to Gypsies, I don't usually play like any jokes or do anything obnoxious. This was like the first time I had brought just something simple that I thought would be kind of cute or funny. And so this wasn't something that was, when we go into a place like this, like I just kind of like keep everything really chill and respectful. So it was really interesting that first time I do something and then he hears it.
That's where I kind of
randomly.
That's where I kind of said in the Gypsy one where it felt like it was mocking you, like, oh, you want to do that? I can do it too,
Right.
Because like I said, we've never heard through the spirit box like an inanimate object like that, but it was like a distinct ching ching ching, like look what I can do if you're gonna do it,
And I'm not trying to make anything mad, so I'm just gonna like nix that kind of stuff.
Now I believe this was all the time before Teddy came out. It brought up God again. And it said, and so this was yet another time, and I think it said something like it brought up something around God, and I think you said something like how many, and it was like immediate. I don't know if it necessarily said one, but it said something, a similar word that would say one because it was, you know what I mean.
And do you remember when we got the word Oliver or Michael said Yahweh?
Yeah, Robert, when he was under.
And that surprised me because very few people know that name.
The original name.
Yeah.
And so that one was very odd. Now this brings us to what we heard, or what I heard on the bridge, the 2 verses, because it was very interesting because
This was interesting.
this was very interesting because I believe it said Lisa's name either directly before or directly after.
Twice.
Both? It did
Twice.
it both
Use
before
it.
and after?
It calls her mother quite a bit too, if you haven't noticed.
Oh, like actually points out mother.
Yeah, like mother was
that night was weird.
there, and then remember at the bridge too.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. It kept saying mother, and I felt like it was talking to me. And it said it was a female, and, everybody has a life and a past and whatever. But anyways, like, it was just very, very strange. I felt like it was very personal. But I couldn't get any ages or anything like that out of it. But, again, it didn't feel terrifying. But, yeah, it kept saying mother a lot.
Yeah, and that's a unsettling when you find out just how much, like, the thing, like, it's not all random. These things line up and they make sense. Maybe not at first, but they do. Now this comes to where, like I was saying on the bridge, where when I got those 2 verses, and I think they said each one twice, which is why I have felt like the need to come out on my phone and write them down, and I didn't have them by memory. I had to look them up later. And the first one was John 14:6, and like I said, this was either right before or it said twice, right? Your name before and after, or just before or just after.
A couple times it had said my name, but I don't remember exactly when it was.
Okay, so it said the first one was John 14:6, and I think some of them weren't necessarily like 14:6 or 4:12. I think it was like the individual numbers,
There's a lot
like
of
1 4
numbers.
2 1 4 6 4 1 2, and I just kind of had to like get the closest I could. But the first one was John 14:6, and it read, Jesus answered, I am the way, the truth, the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And the other one was Acts 4:12, salvation is found in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given to mankind by which we must be saved. And it's weird because out of everything that I could get verse-wise, those have like the same point. You know what I mean? Look
Like,
interested and not
out-
daydreaming.
He came out and like put them down so that he would be able to like look them up.
Like, I did
and
not want to forget that.
remember what they were, but it would say a name and then it would say like a very long number, which I assume is just the first few numbers. And this is what he
It was
got,
the ones I
which
could
was
remember because it
interesting.
was quite a bit. And like I said, out of like everything it could be, it's just odd that it picks the two that have like the same underlying point. It's very odd, isn't it? It feels odd.
So we was at the bridge. This goes hand in hand with her feeling called out. What he had just read to you is what she got from the bridge. So that goes back to, is it the same thing following all of us? Is it a unique guardian angel to each of us? Like, because whatever goes with me and Sam is clearly going with you too, it seems. And so do you feel called out in the sense that like it's saying you're wrong? Do you feel called out in the sense it's mocking your faith? What do you get from it?
And why do you think it's so concerned, whatever it is? Concerned or manipulating or whatever it could be? Because it feels like
Do you think it's manipulative?
I think that's what I have to figure out first is, you know, I feel like we've talked to so many different entities at Gypsies that it makes it hard to tell who it is. You know, we've talked to Abigail, we've talked to an angel, you know, we've heard different names mentioned. So we've, you know, also had, you know, something
female.
more than once try to get you in the woods like crazy, pleading. So,
Do you think that that's the same thing that's talking to you?
well, see, that's the thing is which one is it?
How do you know?
You know, is it something that's actually good? Or is it something that is manipulative?
Is it something
You know,
that like
we
has
don't
something-
know yet.
Yeah, is it like something that has something against you that's just trying to screw up your way
Or
of
not
thinking?
even just against me. It could be a forewarning, or it could just be something having fun. You know,
Right.
it's hard to tell because if it would give us more answers, that would help a little bit. But maybe in time, we can get some.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Gypsies is the first, like, after this episode, trust me, that's it. Like, it's the first place I've ever investigated that had a beginning, a middle, and an end to it.
And like I
It
said,
was
there
a-
will be like one more brief part when we bring Uncle Mike on, but then
and when
we're
you go
done,
through
done.
the recording. It's been by far, you know, we learn new stuff every time we're there about it. There's always something new to it. So, but I find it interesting that it got very personal with you. It got very personal with Sam. And then it got personal with everybody, really. Like Michael, you know, Oliver, you know, it messed with Michael a little bit, but Robert had to take the headphones off. But it definitely was pestering you and pestering you to go into them woods that night.
Now, I had gone under again, but I wasn't getting very much.
Which was a direct 180 from the first night where it was overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And then that brings us to one of the last points of Gypsy for now. We did briefly cover this in the last one, but Mikey's account was very scattered a little bit. But we were telling, you know, the story, basically, like Teddy said, the beginning, middle, end of Gypsies. And the thing that kind of brought it all to the end, which was basically just, I wanted your version of it because, like I said, Mikey was a little scattered, but I want your version of when I went out, laying by the woods, because like I don't remember most of it. Teddy has his fat thumb covering the video, so you can't hear anything.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's like you
Yeah.
hear about 2 words, and you hear, oh my gosh, did you hear that? And that's about accurate because he's just yeah. So
It's probably Robert.
God forbid somebody else talks
Okay,
and
so-
records.
so yeah, it's just basically your account because I don't remember most of it. The video scrapped and Mikey was scattered.
Okay, I'm not going to be able to remember all of it, but
That's fine.
basically it was more of like you laid down, you had the cat balls around you, the headphones were on, but it was interesting because you were recalling being there with Uncle Mike, and I feel like Teddy too, right? And, you know, so... You know, I was also paying attention to Mikey and Robert, making sure they were okay because we kept hearing tree branches and all kinds of crazy stuff, which might have been that hunter from that night. But you would talk very loudly, and then you were talking about different things chasing you, like figures in black with horns. It was snowing. There were just kind of different things like that. But then you'd sit up and you'd be like, it's coming, and you'd point in a certain direction. And you'd look over here. And that's where, you know, there's kind of houses on the end of the fence. And then down here, you know, is like where you go past the fence, and then over here is where that freaking hunter is. So, and the fence. But it was like you would sit up and point. And in the very end, you know, police were coming, whatever. And but you did not remember sitting up and pointing. But there were moments that you were just very passionate and very like, it wasn't like fearful, but it was surprised. But like every time you were like, something's coming, like the boys were, everybody was like, you know.
Yeah.
But it was like you were just in this dream world that we were just listening to. You know, you did repeat a lot of things, but yeah, that figure with the horns got me a lot. That was interesting.
Which was apparently there the night me, Teddy, and Mike walked around the first time, which I only recently found out that I have more videos from that night, and I didn't go through them. So those are going to be somewhere in here if it's worth seeing.
And even without horns, I believe you said there was a figure in black,
Yeah.
which makes me wonder if that's that photo. That...
Now, I encourage you all to go back and watch the other episode because we'll spend a good 15 minutes going into this. But the main lesson that he was supposed to learn was something was protecting us that night. But it served his memory recall perfectly. He could remember the
11 months time different, by the way.
He could remember the tire tracks in the ground. He could remember it was snowing. He could remember what I was wearing. He could remember what Mike was wearing. He's got a good memory, but this was being recanted to him like as if he was hearing it told to him for the first time. Like he was living the night all over again. And it wasn't just the night with me, him, and Uncle Mike. It was the night, every night and time we had been there. And it would always say like there was other things here watching you or with you, but something that whoever was talking to Sam at that point was protecting us. So that's why it was constantly wanting him to go deeper. And so that's what I got from it.
Now, I have the question. How long was I out? Did it seem?
About 22 minutes.
Okay.
For real.
I was thinking 15, 20.
Now for me,
I felt like it was a bit.
and like I said, I don't really even remember being out. It felt like 5 minutes. Like I just went out, and then it was like I took my headphones off. Like it was like 5 minutes, if that. Now that's why it feels so weird. Because like I said, I don't even remember any of it. But it's like you're not there, but there was so much going on, shoved into such a small period of time. It was so weird. And then when I took my headphones off, because I don't remember exactly what made me do it. I think in the video you hear me say like I heard a growl or something, but I come out and it was just like dead quiet. And I was like, I felt lost, even though what I was seeing was right where I actually was. Like when I was technically out, when I took the headphones off, it was like, it didn't feel right to be there. And then I turned around and everyone was just like staring at me. And it was weird because I felt alone. And with how quiet it was, it just like there was so much going on previously. It was like the most odd sensation I've ever had. Which
You are alone, basically. I mean, we're around you, but nobody's close to him, touching him, or anything like that. He can't see, he can't hear.
Now, did the cat balls or music box go off at all while I was out?
The cat balls did, the one behind you. That was it. And then as far as recordings go, you'll have to listen to see what you hear for that. But what he would be talking, and I would still be asking some questions, but it was like we were having a full-blown conversation, like as if I were standing here across Elisa at the table right now. I mean, and I go off. I tend to wander off and do my own thing because I don't want anybody hearing anything I'm going to ask. It takes the guessing game out of the equation. So when I'm asking questions, I can hear Sam, but he can't hear what I'm saying.
Was this when I was deeper?
Yes, every time. I'll walk halfway across that cemetery.
And you're getting correct answers?
Yeah, to what we're supposed to get. You have a lot, like he said, you heard them say before, you have all these different energies there that are trying to communicate. Not all of them even want to communicate. Some of them are just might be coming through to see if they can get through. He's been laughed at a few times. Ha, 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 ha. I mean, not everything there's there to communicate with you or to teach you something. So it's deciphering what's here to communicate, what's here that's just screwing with me, and what's actually trying to say something. We often go look for the meanings with the ghost. What unfinished business do they have? What message are they trying to send? This is one of the first times I can think of where we went there to find out what the message was, but the message was meant for us. It wasn't meant to hear something from another person or about a previous life or a previous wrong, whatever it was. It was there to teach us something about ourselves, I thought.
Yeah, and like I said in the Gypsy episode, when you go like deeper out, it takes way more energy out of you than just regularly going out. Like I said, I've tried it quite a few times, and I've only successfully done it twice, one of which being the Gypsy. Like, it doesn't work all the time. It's nothing guaranteed, but when you're there, it takes so much energy out of you, and you get so much more information though, but it's such a odd feeling. Now with that being kind of like the finale of the whole Gypsy story, what was your thoughts just in total of the place and every experience that you had there being like the first place that you were there kind of doing the ghost hunting for the first time?
I think it's a really great place to do it for the first time, especially because there is so much activity. And honestly, even though I know we plan on some bigger trips and some other places,
Coming up real soon.
I still do want to go to Gypsy's a little bit more.
Yeah, we still kind of need to
So-
figure out the end, which we have somebody who lives 2 minutes away where we can park. Remember the lady at the library?
So the police don't come again?
Yeah, so the cops don't get caught. She lives 2 minutes away, and we can park there and walk. So, no coppers. Now, yeah, it's definitely a place where we want to go get a few answers left. But it's a pretty good place to be going overall.
There's just so much activity that I would also like to use those
Dowsing
when
rods
we
there?
go there. Yeah, I think that will be very interesting. Maybe we can get some clearer answers than even going under.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And like I said, those dowsing rods, it's like answers so clear, like you can't manipulate it, and everybody sees it. And so that'll be very interesting. Now, like I said, this is the first podcast we're recording since our first couple episodes have aired. And on one of them, there was actually a question that had to do with not really necessarily gypsies, but just us doing all this, and it was specifically on the Gypsy one. And I would say you could even answer it too. You weren't on that one, so I don't know exactly who it was directed to, you know. But it was a question for me and Teddy. Basically, does it feel like messing with this stuff and starting our ghost hunts? Does it feel like it affects your relationship with God? Because you said in the first one, like, obviously we're both protected, but do you feel like it affects you in any way with it?
I don't, because what somebody else looks at and sees as my relationship with God isn't what it's going to be. Everybody who's a Christian, who follows Christian faith, has their own unique personal relationship with God. Has it brought me closer in a sense that, like, there's actually other things out there that want to talk to you and whatnot? Like, maybe, but I mean, I've always been pretty strong in my conviction. I mean, I pray every night, every morning, you know. What's neat about what we've been doing is faith isn't about seeing, it's about believing. But when you see those kind of things and hear those kind of things, so like hearing that I was protected, hearing that you were protected, hearing details about myself and about yourself that only it would know, or not just something any random person even would know. It speaks a lot. I mean, salvation comes by faith alone, plus nothing, minus nothing. But again, when you actually see these things or hear these things, you know, it speaks a little bit more volume. I mean, you know, you look back in the Old Testament, you had Moses, you had Abraham, you had all these people who experienced all these visions of God and whatnot. And then after the New Testament, you have Jesus comes along, and that kind of takes the role of the yes. And therefore, you no longer need to rely on the gospel. You need to just rely on the words, the teachings. So I wouldn't say it's messed with me or made me feel any different. I'll just say it has opened up. Like, you're not just hunting for ghosts, you're hunting for messages. You might not even be realizing it, but you're looking for yourself. You're hearing a message that's meant for you.
In terms of what I would say, I would most definitely say yes, it has. I would say it has brought me closer for the reason of you see all the stuff that the Bible does talk about. You see the darkness, and as much as that's making itself known, you know that there is that same light that does exist, that God has promised us. And doing this, some of the stuff, like I said, the night first me and little Mikey went to the bridge, it's caused me to feel some of the, in terms of, I don't even know the right words to put in, but it can cause some of the lowest lows and also the highest highs. Some of the things, you know, they don't want to be messed with. They leave you with the bad feelings that'll lead you to the lowest of lows that you at times don't even know exist. But in the same way, you start looking back into the Bible, you know you're protected, you know what does exist, you know what does not exist, you know exactly how you are treated, how you are protected, and it causes you to feel the highest highs. I feel like, yes, it most certainly has affected, and it has brought closer than you could imagine in terms.
Closer than you were before.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Which I have always been very, very solid in my faith. And I actually, this isn't a whole story about that because that's not what we're focusing on. But I never used to be until I had a certain experience about 5-6 years ago. And then that like really solidified me, because I was always like I was raised Christian, but it was like, you know, how anybody can be raised anything, but it's always up to that individual person. You can't, like, you know, tell somebody this is what you're believing you're my child. You know what I mean? But so I was always kind of like iffy until I had something that like could not be anything else. And so I've been very, very solid in that since then. But I feel like this can most definitely make it closer, is a way to put it. Do you have anything to say regarding this?
I can't really. I can't really answer that question in that sense. But I know that I come with no ill intent,
Yeah.
so I don't feel like I fear
Yeah.
anything. So for me, I don't really put religion into it, but I do like the history and the psychology behind the death and grieving process and things like that. So I do find it interesting, and these places interesting as far as history.
Yeah, this has been a very way to find out history in terms of, you wouldn't think most people would think, oh, that's how you're going about finding your history. But some of the places that we are going to be going to still are like haunted for unexplained reasons, and this is a way to actually find out why, to find out what happened to cause this death, to find out why are things still here. It's a way to literally reveal history in ways that people don't consider.
Especially when you go to cemeteries, you're talking. We could be talking to somebody who hasn't been brought up or thought of in 100 years. Every person in there lived a life. Every person in there has a story to tell. And that's the fascinating part of it. It's not just, like he said, it's not the haunting aspect of it. It's the fact that these were actual people. You have Civil War veterans in there. You have people there that are from a time long gone by, who lived a completely different lifestyle than we did, who lived in a completely different world than we did.
So I believe, unless anyone has anything to add, that pretty much wraps up this one. It's supposed to be more about the Ferris wheel bridge, but we talked about what we got there.
And for those episodes that we don't get a lot of stuff on, that's when you guys will get to, dive in for a more like personal, like story-filled session, kind of like tonight was. But we look forward to...
In terms of where we're going next, more in the future, not what we're focusing on right now, but we are going to be doing pretty soon a trip to the Bell Mansion. That's going to be interesting. We have the 100-step cemetery coming up, which we talked about that in the Creston episode, but it said if you know the story, go up, count 100 steps, and then go down, count. It says if you try to like get off the steps to avoid whatever death that you see, because if you go back down and you still count 100, you've escaped that fate. You can change how it happens, but if you don't count 100, you're sealed in that fate, and that's how you're going to go. But if you try to step off the steps, and I don't know if you saw that part, if you step off the steps and try to avoid it, there's something that pushes you down the hill, and it has left red handprints on people for about 3 weeks before it'll fade. So if you try to avoid it.
Up and down the steps.
Yes. So Bell Mansion is going to be a good one.
They're not steep steps. They're kind of like...
They're easy. They're easy. We better go ghost hunting in here next. In terms of more like very, very recent upcoming ones, probably our next few episodes, we are going to be focusing on two main places. The next one, I think, is going to be the Creston Cemetery, and we will have Uncle Mike on that episode, and that is one that me and Mike have checked out a very little bit and got promising answers. So we're all going to go set up a real investigation and see what we get and make that about this episode. Second place we're going to be going is Conrad, between Lake Village and Morocco. We do not know much about it, besides it has a very big reputation for being haunted, and Cody, one of our friends, he does a lot of ghost hunting. Him and his coworker went to Conrad. They do a lot of ghost hunting stuff, and they got a lot of good stuff here. And like we were telling them about the Roth House and how we don't like to do research because we want to see what we uncover and then do research later and see how much is accurate. He said 100% go to Conrad. He's not going to tell us anything because... Yeah, he wants us to see what we can uncover before he tells us. And it's right between Lake Village and Morocco, so closer than Monocle's.
Absolutely, okay.
No, No, but it's very close to us, and he said, and I've heard it had a reputation for being haunted. What for? I don't want to look now because I want to find out. But he said definitely go there. He wasn't going to tell us anything. He wanted to see what we could uncover, and we're going to go there. So, Conrad or Creston Cemetery, one of those two are going to be next. We're very excited for that. And the episode where we do Creston, Mike will be here too, Uncle Mike, and it'll be his first appearance on here, which will be exciting. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that. Thanks for sticking around for this one. Before we go, Lisa, anything you want to say?
No.
All right, little Mikey.
Well, we want to thank you all for joining us tonight. And like I said, we got 6,000 new listeners with the upload of the last one. Stick around for this one, and we look forward to 6,000 more of you. Unless you guys have anything else you want to add, I think we're going to call it.
Yeah, I think we're good. Thanks to Lisa for joining us. You're going to be on more. We can guarantee
hopefully
that.
we were entertaining for you guys.
Yes, and we will have, for those watching the video, we will have a third mic for all of us that will have better quality as soon as I get a cable that's not cheap because I'm on a very little budget.
We'd also like to thank our sponsor, Skittles. Taste the rainbow, feel the rainbow.
Yes, and our second official sponsor is...
Second sponsor, what? What do you mean, sponsor, what?
I forgot to tell you about that.
Of course you forgot to tell me. You forget to tell me everything to already in the moment. Who the hell's a sponsor? Who the hell's sponsoring this?
Chiquita banana.
Our second official sponsor, the Willow Switch, which is a nice little coffee shop in Rensselaer, Indiana. Go ahead and check them out. And thank you to them for sponsoring us.
Thank you.
Thank you to Crown Point Library for letting us use your gaming room.
Yes, our regular place where we film this is under renovation, so we had to we actually filmed half of this last night and then lost the footage because we were in some random place where the stupid who goes home to her husband every freaking night was like, I gotta go home but I can't leave until you guys leave. So we ended up rushing and we lost half of our footage. So this is where we are re-recording it. So we hope it was good.
Yeah. What? Swallow.
Okay, we are done. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next Friday.
Toodles.
Toodles.
What? All right. Have a good night, all you cool cats and kittens.
We'll see you guys next Friday. Thank you very much.
You forgot the cougars.
Did that just start recording? Did you hear that?
I did hear it. Ding.
Oh, it literally turned itself on to start recording.
It's what
Works. Okay, it's recording. Lisa. Okay. Good. I forgot power cord. Nice, Mike. Get that other red box, Teddy. That other one works just as good. Both? Wait,
Just
you got
one.
both? Okay, keep talking.
Oh, all right. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I got both. Do you have both?
Both of them.
Just one? No, keep going, Teddy.
All right. Keeping on going. There's both.
There.
No,
Wait.
we had it.
It keeps going in and out. Keep talking.
All right. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Still talking. Can you hear me now? We've never had a problem like this before.
No, we haven't. I got both, but
You got both?
keep going, Teddy.
All right. I'm
Yeah.
trying.
Still?
There.
There.
Good. There we go.
There.
Okay, everyone. I lost it.
Maybe.
We've never had this issue.
Never.
And then we're on a
It's only
time
because we're on a
crunch.
time
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting
Don't get-
both. We are getting a closed down kind of thing going on here, so I think we're gonna have to wrap this up.
That guy.
Look at it, it's so cute.
Oh my god. Can you stop recording that actually?
Yeah, I guess I should, huh?
If that wasn't recording. Oh god. Are you kidding? You're
Does it
kidding.
have to record?
You're kidding, right? You're joking.
It's just, there's nothing there.
She's
Oh
joking.
my gosh.
She's joking.
It's just blank.
She's
It
joking.
just blink.
She's joking. Oh, thank God.